The state-run media is the government's primary tool in the campaign to defame Falun Gong. The government regularly fabricates damaging news stories about Falun Gong and Falun Gong practitioners and uses the media to circulate the stories widely throughout China and other countries. The most highly publicized example is the so-called self-immolation that took place in Tiananmen Square on January 23, 2001. In that incident, 5 people reportedly set themselves on fire. The footage was quickly broadcast by the state-controlled media, which claimed that these people were Falun Gong practitioners. There were many suspicious elements in the film. In one case, a policeman standing behind one victim seems to wait for a signal from the victim before using the blanket he is holding to put out the flames. Even more suspicious, a green plastic bottle between the victim's legs that supposedly contains gasoline never explodes or catches fire. In another case, it is clearly evident that the flames on the woman who allegedly died from the self-immolation are extinguished, but she is then hit on the head and knocked down by an object thrown by a soldier in an overcoat. In the footage, we can clearly see that the stick-shaped object bounces off her head on impact. It is not carried along in the flow from the fire extinguisher. She falls immediately. This analysis suggests that she did not die in the flames, as the propaganda claims. When these inconsistencies in the video were pointed out by analysts, they were removed from subsequent broadcasts by the Chinese media. Nevertheless, the International Education Development Bureau, in its report to the United Nations, stated, "We have reached the conclusion after watching a videotape of this incident that this incident has, however, been completely orchestrated by the government. We have copies of the videotape for distribution." Another tactic recently used during President Jiang's European tour in 2002 indicates that the persecution is spreading overseas. The regime circulated a blacklist to Iceland officials shortly before Jiang arrived in that country. The blacklist contained names of Falun Gong practitioners, and many were detained upon their arrival in Iceland. Many others were prohibited from boarding planes in cities all over Europe, North America, and Australia. The people of Iceland were outraged and protested the Chinese regime's tactics. Once Icelandic officials learned about Falun Gong and the persecution, the ban was lifted and the detained practitioners released. The blacklist was also distributed to Hong Kong officials when Jiang visited for the 5th anniversary of Hong Kong's return to China. Many practitioners from all over the world were barred from entering the country, and many others were detained. Some were thrown into sacks and beaten, while others were tied to stretchers and wrapped in canvas to keep them from being seen by the public. At all costs, the truth about the torture and killing of Falun Gong practitioners is blocked from the Chinese public. Within China, foreign correspondents, including CNN reporters, have had their cameras and film confiscated. No third-party investigations have ever been allowed. The government blocks access to the information carried on the internet, cable, and satellite TV transmissions. Practitioners' families are put under great pressure to remain silent, and they are threatened, abused, and often tortured. Practitioners who have died as a result of beatings or torture are not returned to their families. Officials have been ordered to count the deaths as suicides and cremate the bodies immediately. As a result, most citizens inside China are unaware of what is happening in their own country. Of those who are aware, most do not get involved because they are afraid. Outside of China, however, people all over the world are working to make these atrocities known to the international community. Falun Gong practitioners are good people who believe in the fundamental principles that guide humanity: truth, compassion, and tolerance. They are mothers, fathers, teachers, artists, farmers, factory workers, students, and doctors. They come from all walks of life. The crimes against these good people must be brought to light. By working together toward this end, people of conscience the world over can help bring justice and peace to all humanity.